Welcome, YouTube TV. I'm Coach Danzy, and I got a guest with us today, Galal Cancer. He's an Albany resident, born and raised. First, before we start off, I want to say congratulations to Jalal on his marriage, man. Congratulations on that. And I know it's exciting, and I wish you a lot of love and luck in this journey of partnership with your new wife.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's all I can ask for. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. So was it all that cracked up to be when you did the wedding and everything? Was it just like a fairy tale?
Listen, I was ready to do it again the next day.
Wow. You must really love this woman, huh?
her mom set that up. That was fire.
Oh wow! I'm glad you had a great time, and I'm glad you found the woman for you. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. For congratulations, make sure you tell the missus I said congratulations as well.
I will.
All right, so Galal Cancer, a CBA graduate, where he won sectional titles, conference titles, state title. He also was a McDonald's All-American nominee. He went on later after that stellar high school career to go on to Cornell, the Ivy League school. Then he departed from there as a grad, went to Kent State for a grad year of school and playing ball. He also worked the MAC conference tournaments as well. After he got done playing, this guy has been involved around these sporting events, sporting activities, and everything else. So this guy has a lot of experience that we want to get into today. And I know Jalal is a budding personal trainer. So we're going to talk about that as well. How he's doing that and how he got started and all that good stuff. But Jalal, let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. I don't know how good your memory is, but we're gonna rewind back just a little bit. All right. Your high school career was nothing short of spectacular. I mean, come on. Yeah, I coached against you, and I didn't like seeing you very much. You know what I mean? When I coached against you, but you did a fabulous job. Please drop the information of the conference titles you won, the sectional titles you won, the New York State regional titles you won, and the state title. Any information you can remember about those titles, please share.
It's crazy because when people talk about, I just count how many times I lost because that's easier to count the amount of times that we won.
I bet.
I say that with as humbly as possible, but we played a lot of great teams. I played against a lot of people that I played with coming up in Albany. Playing against the Bishop McGinns, the Albany Highs, even the kids out in Schenectady. I played against those guys in CDYBL and AAU all the time. So I always look forward to that. We go to the YMCA, I will play with the Burrells, the McGinns, Bowie, Shavar Fields, you name it. We're playing together all day, every day. Jameer Rowland, Kevin Skee, and Amari Gaddy, playing against some dudes night in and night out at the YMCA. So, for me, I always look forward to the competition. That's how I got better. I don't ever say that to people, but you got better playing against the people that were good. I always look forward to playing against a Teron Bowie, having a guard. I always guard the other team's best player. I always knew I was doing my job or got better the way I defended those great scorers, those great offensive players. So, we played CBA Syracuse in one regional. We played against Mike Goodman, Stephon Thompson, great CBA Syracuse players. We played state tournament, a kid that went to West Virginia, what was his name? Jay Sean Page. This kid, he's out from Buffalo area. We played against him. We lost to them my senior year. That was our only loss. We lost to them in overtime in the state Final Four. Those are games that, I'll always remember. I always wanted to play against Mount Vernon. We fell short my senior year. They ended up making it to state championship that year. The kid Jabari Hines, for me, I always sought out the good players, especially in our state and my class. So I know who all these guys were, and I look forward to playing against them. But locally, I would say those Bishop McGinn days were the ones, because that was the one team that always gave us problems. And especially when some of their better players left towards, I think, my junior year. You know, that really just opened up the door to where I was able to look forward to, you know, those city teams and teams like that.
Now you didn't win the state title with the CBA that year?
In my junior year, we won.
Okay, all
We
right.
won
Okay.
academy and sectionals. That year we played Cicero North High School at Hudson Valley. Our first round game was against Newburgh Free Academy in the state Final Four. And we played Tobias Harris and Half House Hill West in the championship. And it's funny because those teams don't know about CBA. I mean, we played a lot of man-to-man. Even when I was up on varsity as a freshman, Coach Domel hates zone. To this day, he does not like to play it, you know. So when we would play against a team like Bishop again, we had our matchup zone that we would have to use because we couldn't match up with them and their speed and quickness. So we got to the state tournament, you know, they scout us, but they don't have film of us playing this zone. So I think we really flustered Newburgh Free Academy. I mean, we beat those dudes by 19, and that's the defending state champs. We flustered them, then we make it to the championship game. We play them a little bit man to man, you know, but you know I can't defend a 6'8" Tobias Harris the entire game. So we're mixing man to man in our matchup, and we're confusing them. We end up beating those guys by 18.
Wow.
I really think, you know, Coach Domel, he's a great strategist because, you know, even guys who you would not think were the quickest guys could defend some of the better players in the Schenectady or Albany areas. You know, we made it work with our stingy man-to-man defense, and we stuck to that all season. So when we did deploy our zone, you know, we kind of caught teams by surprise. So that was a fun year. I think we tied the wins record for CBA. I think one of the Brian Monahan teams, Daytwan Hemingway, those guys had won 24 games. We went 24-2 that year. I wanted to get that record, but we lost to Christ the King by 3 in the Federation tournament.
Right.
Senior year, we went 23-1, so we didn't quite catch the record that year either, but we tied the record for most wins in school history. So, you know, that was a great year.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Now you played since your freshman year. So how many Big Ten titles did you get in your career there, 4 years there?
3. I think my freshman
year
was the 1 year that we didn't get it.
Wow. And you've been in the sectional.
We lost to the eventual state champion that year, which was Bishop again. So they went on to beat Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, and you won the sectional title how many times in those 4 years?
3, sophomore, junior, and senior year. So
wow. That's a lot of winning, like you said, you've been in your career, no question about it.
Hard to believe, but some of those dudes got 4 section championships.
Yeah, you're right.
CBA boys. So they got one more. They got one more on me.
I hear you. Yeah, that's a lot to talk about, the alumni meetings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So talk to me about one of the memorable games that you had in high school.
Albany High, my senior year, Times Fitness Center, sectional semifinal. They had us down. I don't remember how much time was on the clock. They had us down. I think we were down 2 at this point. Towards the end of the game, I know it's under a minute left. My brother got substituted in, Galal Cancer. He was defending the inbounds pass. I got a steal, breakaway layup to tie it up, and we went on to win in overtime. But it's crazy. You know, I remember the Albany High students fans, you know, chanting overrated when I was at the free throw line in that game.
Wow.
Ended up having 30 points that game. That was my career high. 30 points, 16 for 17 from the free throw line in that game. But, you know, that would have been the one game that would have, you know, hurt my soul, losing to my Albany High friends. The only time we never lost to Albany High, senior year, sectional tournament, you know, so that was an important game, man.
Yeah.
Not the way we did, you know, it was big time.
No question about it. And when you said memorable and all that good stuff, I mean, it was memorable for me because The game before that, I got kicked out of the game as assistant coach. So I couldn't even go to the gym. I couldn't even go to the arena. I had to listen to it on from people texting me and stuff and tell me how the game was going. And I was so happy. I mean, before the game, I spoke to the kids with the Army High before we left. I cried like a baby in front of all of them. You know what I mean? I really wanted to be there with them guys. You know, Jameer, Jockey, and a few other guys were on my Myers team that were undefeated in the modified. So those guys was finally seniors. They had an opportunity to get there. Oh, I cried like a baby, man. I wanted to see these guys really do it. But that, from what I was told, man, it was an outstanding game. And I was crying like a baby when you guys were close, and when the game was close, and when the game was over, I just let it out. I was like, darn it, I couldn't be there with my guys. But yeah, everybody keeps telling me that. I wish I would have been there to be a part of it. Now you also had a great career there, and you also got nominated for the McDonald's All-American a game, whatever. You got nominated, so you didn't necessarily get to go. But talk to me about the emotions you felt getting that nomination, man. That being a nominee, you know what I mean? Getting that certificate in front of your family, friends, and your school.
I mean, that was special because, you know, we didn't have that happening a lot in our area, and you know, that's just hard work and dedication. You know, I spent a lot of time in gyms and, you know, working on as much as I could to be as well-rounded as I could. I mean, as a kid, you know, I really was a student of the game. I was on ESPN.com every day looking at the rankings, looking at the Austin Rivers, the kid Gilchrist. So when we had the opportunity to play him, you know, I'm guarding these guys, you know, Bradley Bill. So, you know, in my mind, you know, I could play with those dudes. So to even have that consideration, you know, that's always special. But, you know, it definitely takes you putting in the work. So it's not like, you know, they just handed that to me. So that was definitely gratification.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. I was there that day. I don't know if we played or I was just there at the game.
I don't know. That we played you guys.
Yeah, that's right. That was phenomenal, man. I was very happy for you and excited for you, especially from a guy come from Albany, right in the hood, you know, growing up and seeing you doing what you do and how your father always stayed on you and how you just listened to his instruction and you allow other people to work with you and I thought your father and your mother just did a great job with you, man. All that stuff started coming out of me when I saw you, you know, reaching those type of milestones in your life and your career. Man, that was just awesome. Yeah. All right. So so talk to me about, you know, when you were notified about it though, you know, when you first got the notification, how did they notify you? How did they get the information to you that you was nominated?
I think it was a letter. I don't know if it went to coach or if it came right to me. I can't remember the exact process. You know, but me as a player, I honestly, I was happy, but I was still mad. You know, I want to play in that game. I mean,
how close were you to that game? How close were you getting into that game? I remember I talked to Jimmer Fredetta, not Jimmer. I talked to Joe the third, and he said he was like really like one player away. Like he was like that close.
I don't think I was that close.
Oh, okay.
And again, you know, it's a lot of players, a lot of good players in the country, and especially on our side of the world. So, you know, I think 24 players go to that game. So
yeah, no question about it.
Player, you know, you do want to play in that game, even at the Brand Classic. You know, like those are nice showcases. You get all the nice gear. I was crazy about all the gear back then. So, you know, definitely wanted to reach that stage, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yep. All right, let's move on from high school and let's go on to college. First of all, why did you choose the Ivy League school in Cornell over all the other offers you received?
It's a good question. You know, at the time, you know, I wasn't as knowledgeable on the whole recruiting process. I wasn't as knowledgeable on college itself. You know, I knew that was somewhere I was going. I didn't have an idea exactly what I wanted. Kind of had an idea what I wanted to study, wasn't completely sure, you know, because again, I spent the majority of my time playing basketball, working out. So I never really sat down to analyze every little detail about that. So My mom had just had a daughter, so I had a little sister growing up, and family, very big family man. So a large part of me wanted to stay close to home, so I could see her grow up. So I ended up narrowing my options down to UAlbany and Cornell. UAlbany gave me my first offer, so I held them in very high regard. They had a very good program, played in a decent conference, so I gave them a lot of thought. But the Ivy League was growing as a league, especially in basketball, and that's an education that most people don't get the opportunity to have. So knowing the kind of student I was, I knew that I could excel there, so I ended up going that way.
Yeah, playing in the Ivy League, man, is so grueling academically and athletically. How were you able to juggle that, man? Like, it's very demanding in the classroom in the Ivy League schools.
It's funny because I'm able to speak to people about the difference now, being that I had the opportunity to go and experience school at another school, which was Kent State. It really showed me how much harder it was to do what we did. The athletes that graduate from those Ivy League schools, because a school like Kent State, we were on scholarship. We had all these academic advisors and teams. We had set practice times, set weightlifting schedules. Classes were either going to be before practice or after practice, not in between. And usually your schedules were put together for you. At Cornell, we were waking up 7 a.m. with the general student population to schedule our classes.
Wow.
We had 4 different lift times that we had to fit in a lift. Practice varied from week to week, from day to day. You really was on your own out there. It was up to you to make your classes, up to you to make sure you made up any work that you missed. League play, Ivy League, we played Friday and Saturdays because they didn't want you missing classes. School like Kent State, you had some leeway with how many classes you could miss. Ivy League, there was no missing classes. So, you really had to be on top of your game, and you were on your own. So, if you weren't doing what you were supposed to do, it was very easy for you to fall behind.
Yeah, that's good information you can share with the young people that you're working with on the training aspect, man. You got a lot of information to share to these young people. Now you left there. You entered the transfer portal. That had to be a very interesting thing. So can you explain the process for our younger people out there when you went to Kent State? Now you graduated from Cornell first, and you transferred to Kent State. But
So,
explain that process.
The Ivy League, they do not allow graduate players. So in most instances at a scholarship school, you could graduate from that school and still play at that same school. Ivy League, you can't play as a graduate student. So I either would have had to delay my course load and graduation to use my final year eligibility at Cornell, or I would have to do what I did, which was graduate and then look to play elsewhere. So you're seeing a lot of Ivy League students today graduate maybe in 3 years, or get hurt and graduate in 4 years and have an extra year to play. And they're going and playing as graduate students at these other schools. So, I missed my junior year. I left the team for academic reasons. So I had an extra year to play after my 4th year at the school. So, towards the end of the year, me and coach, we had spoke, we understood that I was going to have the extra year to play. I had a good season. I was going to have people interested in my abilities to come to play. So, he kind of got the ball rolling, and, soon after the season ended, the recruiting process started over again. So I'm getting calls from teams that we had played over the years. I'm getting calls from people that know coach, basically back to how I was coming out of high school. You're getting these calls, you're recruiting. At this point, I'm an experienced college player. They're looking for a veteran to step in and contribute. They might be losing a senior or a couple of seniors. They're looking for some leadership. So that was how that end of the process worked. Kent State in particular, they had 3 guards graduating. They all played 28 to 30 minutes a game. So, you know, for me, I didn't want anything handed to me. I wanted to go somewhere where there was one opportunity to play. There was a competitive conference, and, you know, I was going to be able to keep growing as a player. So I felt Kent offered me that and in the best package possible. You know, I didn't have to go all the way to the West Coast. I still was a little far away, you know, in the Midwest in Ohio, but I felt that they gave me the best opportunity to do what I wanted to do next. And, you know, I'm glad I made it there. You know, I hate the way our season ended. We had a couple guys get hurt. That was probably the most talented team I've ever been on in my life. And that's even going back to my AAU days where we had Dajuan Coleman, Tyler Harris. My final year of AAU was a pretty stacked team too, but that roster top to bottom, my final year playing at Kent State, I mean, it was crazy. And I think for our injuries, we probably would have made some noise in the NCAA tournament.
Wow. That's interesting. All the players you played with, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Now, give me a memorable moment, a memorable game that you played in during your college career. I got you thinking a little bit now, huh?
Yeah. I'll do one. I'll do one from each school.
Okay.
I would say one for me at Cornell was my final year. We played down at the Charleston Classic. We played Penn State. I always look forward to when we had our big school games, essentially. So we were playing against Penn State. Guarding this kid, Brandon Taylor. He's like this 6'10" guy. Kid. He's like a forward, but, you know, I'm guarding him the whole game, holding my own against him, and I think I ended up scoring 17 points against Penn State, and that was my second time playing against them at that time. I played against them 3 times in my college career. Where I played in my freshman year as well, and, you know, I feel like I had good games. So playing against a Big Ten school like that, and, you know, in my mind, you know, that's me showing that I could play in that conference if I had the opportunity. So that was definitely a memorable game for me there. And at Kent, that was my college career high. I scored 24 points against Western Michigan. I went like 6 for 10 from 3.
Wow.
Again, guarding this one kid, Thomas Wilder is his name, good guard. Guarding him the whole game, you know, trying to keep him under his average, make sure every shot is difficult, and at the same time scoring my career high, shooting 60% from 3, you know, like, you know, that's not an easy task. So
no doubt.
that was my game right there.
Wow. Awesome. Glad you shared that with us. Now, you know, you've been a point guard throughout your high school and your college career. Was that always the case in your elementary and your junior high years, playing point guard?
So it's funny, when I transitioned to point guard, my eyes got real big because I really didn't dribble the ball that much. When I first started playing basketball, so me and my brother, we were football players. We played football our whole life. I started playing basketball seriously around 5th, 6th grade. The Burrells had brought us to AYB tryouts. So I was taller than the guards on our team. Like, that was before Maury got tall.
Yeah.
We had the Matt LeClaire's, Justin Horn. So I was taller than those guys. So I was usually playing in a 4 or 5 with them. So 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I'm playing this big guy role. And I go to CBA in 7th grade, and they're like, yeah, you're going to play point guard. You're not going to be this tall behemoth. So at that point, I'm transitioning to point guard, and I have no real ball handling skills. So, you know, at that point, that's when I'm drilling at the YMCA every day, trying to get my handle as tight as possible. And, you know, from there, you know, I got better. I don't think I really embraced that point guard role until my sophomore year of high school, where I felt comfortable in that position.
Awesome. I noticed I noticed in high school, man, you played very physically. You like to go down low and post up, rebound tough. So that might have been a blessing in disguise, learning how to, you know, play down low all those years, man, early on.
No, I definitely think that made me the player I am today, because even today, you know, I'm able to still do that. high school, even in college, I was this polished post player. And I think it's exact for that reason that's how I started. So now not only do I have the guard skills, now I can play down low and I can defend down low. So I mean that just helped shape my game, take it to even higher levels.
Yes, yes. Now, now I'm gonna pivot a little bit to the training aspect. Now, I know because of all the experiences you just shared with us, the winning at CBA, doing really good academically at CBA, and going to an Ivy League school and playing Division I basketball at Cornell, and moving on to Kent State the graduate year. I know you probably get a lot of people, especially when you came back home for good, that one is like, hey, I wanted you train, would you be able to train my son or daughter? Was that something that might have happened, or that's something that that you might have seeked out? Well, how did that come about?
It was definitely more of people inquiring. I know the first time I did train someone like that, Coach Senderhoff had asked me back at Kent State to train, one of the kids that will always come to our camps. So that's when I started first doing it. And then as I got home, started coaching some. I think the first kid I started training was some of my AAU guys when I coached AAU for a year. And, people definitely say, I'm never going to say no if I can find time, if I can find space, I'm never going to say no because like, we were saying earlier, I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to share that I will always look to share. My thing is I'm not gonna force people into something they don't want to do. So if these young guys, if they're seeking it and they're looking, I'm happy to give them all the tools that they need. So, when people inquire, I tell them, just let me see what my schedule look like. Just gotta find a place, but we can get to work whenever.
Like that. Did you ever think you will find yourself in this space ever during your playing days? Or like you said, I mean, this parent or a coach asked you to do it for a camper or whatever. Before that, was that ever even a thought of you doing something like that?
I would say I would definitely would have thought that, a few hours here and there, nothing crazy because I've done this for so long. Like, this is what I know. Like, yeah, I get up and go to work and every day and work a job. But at the end of the day, this is what I know. Like, I'm always going to have a knack to be around this. Like, even now, if I can find somewhere to coach, I'm going to coach because this is what I know. I go home, sit on the couch, and I'm watching basketball. I'm still studying to this
Right.
day. And I know I'm not playing anywhere. So, this is what I know. This is who I am. And, if there's ways for me to stay involved with it, that's what I'm going to do because I'm going to get bored fast.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What I noticed about you, man, when because you did some training with my son, and I was just floored, really about how you do it. And well, like most about your training sessions, man, how you convey focal points to the athletes or to my son. I think you have a temperament that you carry with yourself, man. It works well with certain players, especially players such as my son that may be a little bit sensitive to a person who might be a barker or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think the way your approach is just it might just fit well with some people. Talk to me about your style of reaching young people where they are.
So you have to try and make it fun. The game is supposed to be fun. Like, and I think part of me was I was so warped in winning that sometimes I would lose sight of the fun aspect of the game because all I cared about was winning. So, when it comes to training, the first thing I tell dudes is I'm not going to force you to do anything you want to do. We can sit here and go an hour, go 2 hours, but if you don't remember this, if you don't think about this, you're going to waste your time. And I don't want you to do that because the reason I'm here is because I believe in you and I want you to be the best player that you can be. But the game is as much mental as it is physical. And that's what I try and convey. Like, you really are thinking about what's going on out here. And as you get older, everything speeds up. So that thinking part, you really have to think and react. So especially when working with Kadeem, it's like, I see a bunch of potential here. I also see you need to get kicked in the butt sometimes, you know? So, I tell them, you can go this slow or you can go this hard, but when you get in the game, you're gonna look sorry. I don't want you to look sorry, especially because you're working with me. So this is what we're gonna do. So now I try and teach, this is what you're looking for if this happened. This is what you're looking for if that happened. Of course, you're not going to be able to predetermine ahead of time, but you're going to learn all these different reads and moves and concepts that your reaction should make the move for you. It should be smooth, reactionary movements. So I try and instill as much as I can. And again, you're never going to really know what you're going to do, especially as you go higher level, the game speeds up. But your body, the moment, all the reps, all the movements, how fast you're doing it, it's gonna react. It's gonna react, and that's why I keep trying to tell them, listen, do this, you do this. Yeah, it may feel awkward now. You may feel like it's not coming to nothing now, but as you get into that game, your reactions, your speed, your movements, everything is gonna be on point. And they don't understand until they're in it, until that live up and down. Oh, now I see what you're saying. Like even now, I thought I knew how fast the game was going to change from high school to college, and no matter what I did to train, there was no way of preparing for that until I was there. And that's what I try and tell guys, like, you can drill and drill and drill until you're in that fire. There's no preparing for it. So now you got to go as hard as you can in hopes that you can get just an inkling of what it's like. So when we're working out, you got to push yourself, pretend, game speed, game this, game that. And when you're in it, that's when it starts to rub off.
No question about it. You kind of stole my thunder for my next question. I was about to lead into that. I like how you focus on footwork and how you consistently put players in situations to be instinctive with work and counter moves. I mean, that's what I just wrote down. I mean, I wrote that down prior to you saying that. So you saying that was kind of ill.
Footwork is, I think that's one of the most important parts of the game, and that opens up a plethora of movements and moves and shots if you're tight and light with your feet. So, whether we were walking through the steps before going full speed, I really try and drill the steps in. And one of the other big things is I was never a big dribble guy. I'm not a Kyrie Irving. Those guys are special. At the college level, at the NBA level, there's only so many of those guys. You can go watch as much, and that's what I try to tell guys. Watch the games. Don't watch the games for the dunks and the crossovers. Watch their feet when they do turnaround jump shots, the side steps. Watch their footwork coming off screens. Watch the feet. That's what you should watch for when you're watching games. But I try and tell them there's only so many guys who dribble like that because you can't get away with it. Everyone's 6'8", 6'5", long arms. You're gonna get to lose the ball, get it taken from you, or you're gonna get yourself in trouble driving into 3 people. Get into the paint on 2 dribbles. 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull-ups, 1 dribble reverse pivot jump shots, like stuff where you're using less and less dribbles, less movement, and getting high percentage shots. And yet, working out with me, you may not get to do at the cone, go between the leg crossover behind the back, but what you will learn is when you're in the games, the stuff that you're actually gonna be able to do, you'll be able to get shots off that stuff. And that's really what I try and drill when I work with guys. Is this is what the game movement is going to be like. This is what the floor spacing is going to be like. This is where you're going to get your shot, or this is where you should be looking to get your shot because of the spacing and the way the floor is going to be. And again, you can't predict that, but the way movements are, the way guys play defense, the way coaches line up, because I've been around a lot of coaches. I've coached. I know the different type of defenses you're going to see. I just paid attention to that stuff. So I know a lot of spacing spots on the floor. So And I just try and share that as much as possible. They're not going to get it overnight, but what I try and do is just keep talking to them. We go sit and get water. Try and talk to them about this is what you should be thinking about. Even with the jump shot, you at home, just sitting on the couch, shoot the ball up in the air. What do your rotation look like? How's your fingers? How are you holding the ball? Just little stuff like that. It all adds up.
No question about it. What do you like to work on with your clients? Like what is in your wheelhouse when you start teaching this game of basketball to individuals, to players? I'm interested to know what that answer is.
So, and I've thought about this because I've worked with young, I would say less young kids than older kids. So older kids, I usually jump right to the different type of shot selections, the footwork, the mental aspects of the game. With the younger kids, I try and see where they are as far as their shooting mechanics. And again, you can start footwork with them early, their 1-2 layups, the ball handling. But I don't want to get lost because I know for me growing up, it was a lot of the crossovers, stuff at the cones. And I personally try to avoid all the over dribbling stuff. I don't like to teach that. So, depending on the age, it's more the fundamentals of the shooting mechanics, the simple crossover blend, protecting the ball when you dribble, using your body. You might have someone quicker than you defending you. You might have to use your body more than playing with the ball out in front of you. So little things like that. And as they get older, or if I'm working with a more developed kid, all right, let's work on your left hand. You might be able to do a floater, or, you might drive. Like for me, for years, I tended to drive to my left, even though I was right-handed. What kind of tendencies are you developing? Let's keep your game diversified so, you keep the people guessing, keep the people honest. So as you get older, I try and hammer in some of the more mental aspects of the game, and that's where I'm at right now. But again, everything changes.
Yeah.
If I see something, I add it or incorporate it. So I'm learning, I'm watching, and I go from there.
Yeah, I like how you broke that down with the younger and older, because some people would like to train this the same way with anybody they get. I think it's definitely levels to this thing. Awesome job there. So talk to me about the challenges that you face so far, just getting this thing started. I mean, you mentioned one before, not having a home, not having a physical building, but just give me some challenges that people might not know that you're going through right now, because they might want to get you in there, but they might not know the challenges that was holding you back. I mean, you working, you just got married. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with Galal Cancer going on right now. So talk to me about some of those challenges.
Honestly, for me, it is very simple. I don't do a lot of extra stuff. So, I try and make sure home is taken care of first, and that's the whole thing with my schedule. When I say, I try and find time throughout the day. I don't want to commit to something, because once I do, I'm going to stick to that. So if I say I'm going to work out, I'm going to work out, but I want to make sure home is taken care of first. So whether that be my wife, or if my family needs something done, then I want to make sure I'm available for that. So trying to find a consistent schedule, and that's during the week. Weekends, weekends are definitely more lively for me as far as availability. But, I would say the first thing is schedule always. And, it's hard to lay that out for me because, I am such a family man. I want to make sure home is always taken care of. And then the only other thing is, availability is gym space. I prefer to be inside somewhere, but I have gone to courts. But the only issue with that is, those are not my courts. So people just come to the park. They're in the way, So it's always a thing. I'm willing to go wherever. But again, if you don't have your own space, that is a bit of a challenge. I think COVID has played a factor in that, not being able to get into certain schools. So yeah, I think I've been kind of slow in that regard, just trying to see what kind of, if I can soon hopefully get my own space. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I think it's gonna go well for you, man. That's what you want is gonna happen. Now, talk to me about. I mean, I know you're starting a you don't have a name yet, so let's think about my name right now. No, I'm only kidding. But you have a name of your company and all that good stuff. But right now, where can people reach you? On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, Discord. I don't know all these. So just give out a few of those so that people know where to find Galal Cancer if they inquire about what you can provide for their child or
Yeah,
themselves.
I think Facebook is the easiest place, because even if I don't see it right away, I have so many people connected to me on there, so many connections that it'll get back to me. You just gotta remember if you're searching me on Facebook that they don't let you spell cancer, so you gotta do 2 R's for the last name. But Galal Cancer on Facebook, I mean, that's probably one of the best contacts for me socially.
Okay. All right. So that's where it is, people. You reach out to him right there on Facebook. And remember to put the 2 R's on the cancer there, so you can reach him on Facebook. Um, did we miss anything that what you want to share to the people? I want to make sure you get your voice out there. What did I miss?
I think you asked some pretty good questions. I mean, as far as my message on the court, I mean, I guess the only one other thing I would say is, the academic side of things. I feel like we had a lot of players through the years that don't get to go showcase their talents because, the academic side of things aren't in order. So, we can get to kids young, and teach them and groom them and mold them into, treating academics as important as sports. I think we'd be better off for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a key for me. Was I was as competitive in the classroom as I was on the court. People got higher grades than me. I had a problem with it. So
right.
if we can teach that side of it, I think the doors that we will open up for the kids, it will be astronomical. I mean, just you're gonna have options. Even if sports don't work out, your options will still be there. So I mean, I really, and any camps I speak at, I talk about the importance of school. Any training I do, I talk about the grades and how school going. And I think we forget in our love or teaching the game itself that those two things go hand in hand.
No question about it. I got 2 more questions before we end this. Did you play after college? I can't remember. Okay.
And that was a hard decision for me. I went back and forth about it. I even the year that I was a graduate assistant, I thought about going, and I never felt that it was enough of a difference maker for me starting my working career to keep playing overseas. I think if I had pursued a professional job here, I would have done that, but I think where my lights were pointed would have been overseas, and I wasn't completely sold on that. So, part of me wish I would at least tried it just, because, I was capable of doing it and I had opportunities, but at the same time, I was ready to start doing some other things. So here I am, but
Right. Now, last question. This is a question I saw on Twitter actually, and one of the people there posed this question, and it was hoopers versus ball players. That was that was like the caption. Now, when you hear that caption, what comes to mind when you hear those two things? When you hear that phrase.
that's tricky. Hoopers versus ball players. that is interesting. I honestly, I think I would just. I mean, I feel like there is a distinct difference. I don't know if those are the two things I would say. I would probably group those two names together and come up with a different name. But I think you have those guys that they step on the court and they just have it. It may not be as much of a wake up at 6 a.m. and train and go back at 12 and train and go back at 8 and train. they show up at the park and they're gonna get busy. Versus, those ball players, those that organize team sports everywhere to travel here, personal trainer, everything to a T. That's how I would look at it.
I like that. I like how you broke that down, because one of the things he said, like, hoopers are people that like you just said, basically you can drop them any court in America and them dudes gonna get it in. You know what I mean? Like, and the other guys, the ball players, you won't find them at a Rucker Park necessarily. You know what I mean? You're gonna find them, like you said, somewhere with a trainer getting it in. And truth be told, both players can be great, and both players can be Hall of Famers, but that is just a little bit different for certain players. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a negative. I just think it's just a approach that some people do. You know what I mean? So
no, it's just different.
Right.
That's
right.
all.
Right. Yeah, no question about it. But
I'm not saying you gotta get it how you live.
No question about it. All right, Galal Cancer, thank you, man, for coming on and talk about your personal training and your high school and college career and everything that's going on in your life with your marriage and everything else. And I know like I said, with your job, everything you into that that next phase of your life, man. You know what I mean? So grown man status. You know what I mean? So make sure you tell your parents, your mother, and father that I said hello, and we'll be speaking again, man. You stay safe out there.
Well, thanks for having me.